Facebook. See you with you in a second. It's time for Friday and the Movie Guys -1.
Is he okay?
No, he's not.
Yeah.
No, he's hurting. Yeah.
There you go, 10 seconds.
My brother, they had the air vac in from the Big Island to Honolulu.
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, the Big Island is, feral.
Good. Finally, Friday morning.
I have cousins
Coming
over
to you
there, I
at
know.
5 minutes past 10 o'clock on KRIM's Community Spotlight. And with me this morning, our hometown movie guys -1. We have Tina and Craig with us. Andy couldn't be with us this morning, a little under the weather, but hopefully we'll have him back here next week with any luck at all. But Tina and Craig, how's life?
It's pretty good, with some reservations about the political climate, or the climate change of the political
The political climate
Or
change.
is it global warming?
Yeah,
I don't
it's-
know. What
there's-
are we calling it?
There
today?
is hot air involved. I know
Oh,
that.
big time. Yeah.
And Craig, how's life with you?
Not too bad. We're getting kind of pumped up here for the holiday for the holiday week.
You were talking just before we went on the air, and I mean, you got some pretty impressive brand new releases. We're kind of getting back into some normalcy as far as movie releases.
Yeah, we've got the big ones for Thanksgiving is going to be the second Croods movie. It's coming out on Wednesday of next week. Then
Croods?
Yeah, the day before Thanksgiving. The Croods: A New Age. We're going to be doing that one in 2D and 3D, so we'll have that on 2 screens. But this one was, the first one did really good. It was, it's one of these kind of, we talk about the kids' movies, but it has some stuff in there for adults too that everyone can enjoy.
So, this is going to come as a shock to you, but I don't think I saw that movie. Give us the Reader's Digest 10-second overview. What's it all about?
It's about a prehistoric family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So they're all Harry wearing...
cavemen. Yeah, cavemen.
Cool.
Cavemen, yeah. And that's what this one is they meet this other clan of cavemen that are the Bettermans. That's it.
They're better than humans?
The Bettermans. Yeah, well, yeah, they're sort of looking down on these guys as, they're a little more evolved than they are.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We don't
Kinda
have
like
hair all over our
Like
face.
Flintstones on steroids?
Oh.
I don't know. I haven't seen it either.
Wilma!
Yeah, perhaps a bit, yeah, a little Flintstone-ish.
Flintstone-ish.
Flintstone.
I saw that back in the 70s.
Right.
The bottom line is we're also coming to you today on Facebook Live, and coming up, we've got a lot more movies to talk about here right away, but coming up a little later now, we're going to kind of get a feel for you on what you think some of the best music soundtracks to movies were, and maybe a little bit of why. So feel free to join us on Facebook Live. Just look for KRIM FM and you'll see us there coming to you live, and we'd like to get some input from you. And we were talking before going on the air, we've got a lot of different ideas to toss at you that way. But going back to the movies for a second, so we got the Flintstonians. What else you got coming?
Today we've got 2 starting up, a couple classics. First one, How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Right.
The 2000 Jim Carrey version.
And there really wasn't a better one than that. I mean, of course, the animated thing just didn't.
Well, 20 years ago, actually I think it was yesterday, was the 20-year anniversary was when How the Grinch Stole Christmas came out. And that was actually the first movie that was played at the Sawmill Theaters when we first opened up.
I didn't realize that.
So it's
Wow.
kind of a 20-year anniversary thing, yeah.
Well, and Jim Carrey, I mean, he's played a lot of different parts, and most of those have been quite similar. I guess to make a long story short. However, I think he did a really remarkable job of pulling off the character Grinch, and I mean the costume and all of that was interesting, but he did a pretty decent job on that. I thought.
Well, he has that, that personality,
That Grinch-like persona.
Well, I think they, I'm sure, of course, they have a script, but I think they just kind of turn him loose and let him do his own thing, and add a lot of that into it.
Right.
Kind of like Robin Williams did often with
Sure,
the sort of off the cuff.
Very spontaneous.
Jim Carrey, I mean, he's wacko. I think he may be even bipolar,
Right.
or tri or quadpolar, polar. But he's really
This
brilliant.
is deep.
I know. It's like the
So
Latin, prefixes.
if you were forced, if you were tied down, tortured, and forced to make a decision, what would be your favorite Jim Carrey movie?
Mask.
Ooh,
I
good
love
choice.
that movie. I love that movie.
I thought the dog stole the show.
The dog did, and Cameron Diaz was in that. And that was when we
Okay.
first started to see her, and she's quite something.
Yes, quite.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
more on that later.
yeah.
But I don't know, so favorite Jim Carrey movie for you?
Yeah, that's Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls.
Ooh.
Oh,
The
yeah,
second
yeah.
one, the
Detective.
second one.
The
yeah.
second one?
The second one. yeah,
I like the
second
first one. Yeah.
Yeah, the second one. First one was good too. I like
Yeah.
the second one.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. And he's done so many different things, but all of them are really kind of off the edge, sort of strange.
You know, we talked about it before. He is a little bit, you know, even go back to like Jerry Lewis. You know,
Yeah.
kind of. I don't know. Jerry Lewis wasn't for everyone. You know,
Right.
he was a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
kind of off the wall. You know, he said some of the Steve Martin stuff.
Right.
Well, speaking of Steve Martin,
Yeah.
we also have Planes, Trains, and Automobiles starting up today.
Dang.
Today?
Yes,
Wow, that's a
yeah,
great
we're just doing those.
Oh.
Now that one's just at 7 o'clock at night, so we're just
Right.
doing that once a day. But
Wow,
Yeah.
awesome.
that's you know, of course, got the R rating on it. So
Right, yeah, it's
that
not-
one.
That's what John Candy and
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin.
But
And
it's-
who was that, the woman?
Oh,
Was she the one, was she in that
Not
one,
sure.
or am I phrasing?
You know,
So
that
that was
woman.
pretty much just John Candy and
Yeah,
Steve Martin,
maybe
but,
I'm thinking of another one.
you know, and that one's rated R really just for that one, the car rental scene
Right.
where Steve Martin has a complete total meltdown.
There's some potty mouth stuff going on.
Oh,
But
Larry,
the
yes.
bottom line is, you know, for adult entertainment, there's a whole bunch of belly laughs in that movie. And it
Oh,
plays
that was-
tonight at 7 o'clock.
Yes. Oh well, all week.
All week.
All week at 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Cool. There's a good idea for you to get out. You know, I don't know. To me, I either I'm kind of fickle. I've experienced so many weird, bizarre, tragic things doing disaster work that I don't really like to go watch movies about that kind of stuff. Although I like a good action flick. But to me, I mean, I just want to go make me laugh. You know,
Planes,
I
Trains, and Automobiles. I love
Yeah,
it. That's,
that'll do it.
have to come check it out.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other things you mentioned, of course, that movie goes back to, that's about another 20-year-old movie, isn't it?
Oh, maybe more.
I'll keep going with that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was.
80s?
Yeah, well,
Not
with
sure.
John Candy. I mean,
Yeah, John Candy's been
He's
long
been
gone.
gone
Yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
My, how time flies when you're watching movies. But you have some other, some other big name current release stuff that's coming down the pike now during the holidays as
Because
well.
you know, Christmas is looking pretty good right now.
And that's
Yeah.
good because you've been, I mean, with all the COVID stuff, it's really impacted the movie industry in general, but certainly you specifically. And I know there's been quite a while where you weren't getting any new releases for a bit because I think some of the movie production houses were holding back releases.
Well,
and
you know,
stuff
you're
like
looking at, you know, we're kind of in this catch-22 where you know, people aren't going to go to movies until there's new movies out, and
that. Right.
the studios don't want to put new movies out when no one's going to the movies. So you know, you got something's got to break there. But like I said, coming down the pike here, looking at Christmas, Wonder Woman. That one has been a little bit iffy. They weren't sure what they were going to do, but that is going to hold for Christmas.
Wow.
So we definitely got that one. We got I know Andy would love this, but we got a Mia Jovovich film coming out on Christmas Day, Monster Hunter.
Wow.
Oh,
that's
and
kind of
she, you know, there's Babes and then there's Mila, and she is fabulous.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
the Fifth Element. I think
Oh.
is
Oh,
Andy's.
right.
Yeah,
I think it's Andy's
yeah.
favorite movie.
Yeah, I mean, the camera loves her.
She's in the Fifth Element. I mean, the part that she played. You know,
Yeah.
spoiler alert. I actually saw this movie twice, but the part that she played was, you know, an unusual personality, and she pulled it off very well.
Yeah,
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
kind of an alien.
And-
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
she
unusual.
pulled it off with
Well, it's
only-
unusual here in Payson Down, and guys see it. It's not that
Yeah.
unusual.
She pulled it off with only small bands of material covering her,
Yes, she
her,
did.
her absolutely fabulous anatomy.
Sadly,
she is
she didn't pull that off.
gorgeous.
But yeah.
Oh, and yeah, I know.
Terrible. I don't know where I'm going next. But that makes it, that's half the fun right
I
there.
know, she's
Um,
great though.
So now, the new releases, I mean, typically, historically, traditionally, that all starts right about Thanksgiving, right?
Traditionally,
As
yeah,
far as the, you know, those
yes,
big blockbusters that come
yeah,
out during the
yeah,
holidays.
so some big stuff. And then, like I said, we got the Croods coming out this week. That was really the one that held in there. You know, of course, this was supposed to be the new James Bond film. Never Say Die.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this was the weekend for that, and they bumped that one out here.
Is that the one
month
with
or
the
so.
female black James Bond?
There is a female black 007.
Yeah, well,
Actually, I think
007.
she's 007. Yeah,
I'm
because
sorry, I draw the
Daniel,
line.
Daniel Craig retired or something. So
I think I'm sexist and racist. I'm sorry.
It's Jamie Bond.
TV.
Not,
Jamie
yeah,
Bond.
007
Yeah. Whatever.
Seriously, really.
No, but so when is this supposed to come out?
What the?
Well, it was supposed to come out today.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, that's coming out
Oops.
next year now. So yeah, we've got The Croods is the big one coming up here, and we're gonna do that in 2D and 3D. So we'll have it in 2 theaters. Again, I think that's good right now too. We're not gonna be too crowded there, and we're keeping all of our. We're still keeping it at 50% capacity.
Right.
We got every other row blocked off. Back to masks.
So, yeah, well, and it makes sense. But I guess, at least in some people's estimation. But as far as the James Bond flick, no projected release date
I
yet?
think he's coming out in April.
Oh, not until the spring.
Yeah. That's really. Like you said, we've got Christmas looks pretty decent. There's a Tom Hanks film coming out, a Western, Tom Hanks Western,
Oh, right.
News of the World. So
Yeah.
there's some stuff coming out there. So we do have that going on, but then really we're looking at. We'll kind of limp along, I think, until spring.
Well, it sounds like lots of good reasons to, let's quickly go through the lineup of what is playing tonight at.
Okay. Well, we still got Let Him Go, Kevin Costner and Diane Lane.
Ooh.
That one's been doing really good.
Diane Lane.
We still have War with Grandpa,
Right.
Robert De Niro. That's a PG, a good one for kids, family.
Right, comedy.
Right. Hillbilly Elegy. We're going to hang on to that one. Now it's probably going to leave on Tuesday. I think that'll be the last day there.
And
So
how's that been going so far?
just not very good.
Really?
No, I'm a little bit surprised. This is Glenn Close, Amy Adams.
Right.
In roles that are supposed to be just incredible.
And Close is up for Academy Awards for this.
Academy Award nominations here, directed by Ron Howard.
Wow.
The subject matter is a little bit of about addiction and things, so that it's kind of a serious film.
Right.
But yeah, no, just people have not been coming out for it.
If I'm not mistaken, it's taken from a true story.
It is, yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Well, I would like to see that, and at the same time, people are feeling so depressed, down. Maybe that just doesn't catch them as something that, oh, geez, I'm going to walk out of the theater feeling uplifted and bubbly and all that happy stuff.
What do you think, if you were, I'm just going to put you on the spot here, but if you were going to pick one movie, Tina, that as you left the theater really kind of rocked your world, what would it be?
Oh my God, are we talking movies or stuff on Netflix right
No,
now?
movies.
Movies?
Yeah.
Oh, my first thought was Gladiator, and I just love that movie. I love it.
It's a good movie.
I've seen it probably 15 times.
Right.
Yeah.
And then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I love that movie.
Yeah.
I did my senior thesis on it.
Wow.
And
I didn't know they had movies back then.
I know. Yeah.
I'm here for
Really?
moral support.
But comedies,
Hmm.
comedies. Coen Brothers stuff. Oh,
There you go.
Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, that
I
was an interesting.
love that movie, and
Yeah.
that would be we should show that, that, if we could bring that back to the theater. The music is so
Oh,
great.
that is a great one. I
Yeah.
agree. And as far as movies that left you, affected in whatever way, one of the ones that we've talked about a number of times, but I'm just not done talking about yet, is Avatar. I mean, there were so many news stories at the time where people were talking about they were facing depression because they wanted to go back to Avatar. They didn't want the story to end, and it's like, oh well.
Here he goes with the blue chicks,
Yeah, well,
Greg.
first words out of my mouth were, grow up. But the tall blue women with tails were,
Yeah.
somewhat alluring.
Something there, huh?
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what it was, but I think I can put my finger on it.
But what about I'm not a big animation fan,
Right?
but you know what I love? Ratatouille.
Oh, wow.
That was that animation with the rat,
Right?
right? And then
A rat chef, no less.
Yes, he was a rat chef, Ratatouille. And then the Enchanted with Amy Adams. Oh my God! Now
Right.
we should play that. That's a musical. It's it's like old Disney,
Wow.
just perfect. And
But,
she is wonderful.
Disney does have a few of those. The Lion King.
Oh,
The Lion King,
beautiful.
Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff, those have, you know, some pretty strong messaging in them too, you know, family and stuff, and then those just,
You know, and one of the you know, big blockbuster movies from, well, let's see, we're going back to, I believe, 1977 or 79, was the very first Star Wars. And
Sure.
it was a, you know, kind of a gripping story, and you left, you know, the good guys won, and life is good, and you're feeling good about it. There hasn't been a Star Wars movie since that I've enjoyed them all, but there hasn't been one since where I left feeling like I did after that first one.
Let's see, you know, we call this, you know, Hollywood magic, you know, the magic of movies.
Sure.
And it's fairly rare, really, when you have that, you know, there might be good movies out there, but when you actually have a film that really, you know, touches you and
Right.
moves
Right.
you, those are,
And that you want to see again and
those
again.
are rare.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, even to the point of memorizing it because it's so memorable.
There you
It's
go.
really, really, I mean, you know, Enchanted, just all the music is so great. And musicals, okay, American in Paris with Gene Kelly.
Ooh.
There's a throwback, okay? Yeah.
I look back at you know, when Star Wars came out, two of my very close friends in high school back then worked at the Cine Capri Theater where it debuted in Phoenix. And of course, you know, because they're working in the theater, walking up and down, making sure that people are not doing things that they're not supposed to be doing, they ended up, you know, watching this movie a gazillion times. And even to this day, this many years later, when we get together, there's always quotes from the movie coming out one after another, after another, after another, and then another.
Right.
But I don't know, it's one of those weird movies that kind of sticks with you.
Yeah, you know, we just had, you know, The Unforgiven just
yeah.
left, but you know that movie was kind of slow building, but that end scene of The Unforgiven was just amazing.
Beautiful.
You know, and you get war films will do that. You know, Platoon.
Platoon. And it was, I remember, it was like a 3+ hour movie, wasn't it? No, not Platoon. I'm thinking of
Full Metal.
the one where they have to go in and rescue the guy.
Apocalypse Now. No.
Band of Brothers.
Oh, Band of Brothers.
No, Saving Private Ryan.
There you go. Saving Private Ryan. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was
Wonderful.
a long movie that,
Yeah.
but that was another one that, you know, at the very end, the scene of the soldier decades later, that was pretty moving stuff.
Yeah.
Passion of the Christ.
Doesn't get any better than that. Talk about a you know, a
Jim
great
Caviezel.
ending.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
The good guys win.
The good guys win. Spoiler.
Yeah, really. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to spoil
But,
it.
again, that one was difficult to watch.
Yeah.
And same thing, you know, Saving Private Ryan was.
Well, and with the
pretty rough.
Passion of the Christ, one of the things, as far as the difficulty in watching, is they did just a remarkable job of making everything so realistic. I mean, when you start talking about, you know, the 40 lashes and and I mean, there was, you know, chunks of flesh flying and I mean, it was they I don't know how you could have made that any more realistic. Spooky stuff, but a really well done movie. All right, so now one of the things that we're
And
going
then there's one that's really politically incorrect and wonderful.
Uh-oh.
Fargo.
Fargo, there you
Oh
go.
my gosh. Bring the wood chipper.
Yeah, film at 11.
Okay, everybody who thought I was a nice person, I automatically lost that illusion.
Check her off on that list, yeah. Well, I don't know, it's amazing though, and I think one of the things that we all love about movies is just to take that little step away from reality and be somewhere else for a couple hours, you know,
Right.
let all of the nonsense in your life
Yes.
go aside and just go check out a movie. And there's no better way to do it than going to the Sawmill Theaters
Yes.
on the big screen
Yes.
with
There you
the great sound system, and of course, a big barrel of popcorn and other goodies from the concession stand.
Yeah.
Keep talking while I cough.
Go out to the movie, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
Take a break.
Exactly, and that's, you know, we talked about that before. You know, the type of movies I like. I'm not really into drama and things like that because I do like to go.
Yeah, I
for
dated her
escape.
back in high school. Yeah.
I go to escape. You know, like you're talking Avatar. You know, that was
Right.
like the ultimate escape film. You
Really?
know, it takes you away from.
It takes you out of this galaxy.
Everything that's going on with this,
Right.
you know, crazy place we're in now,
Yeah.
and kind of lets you get away from it for at least a couple hours.
Yeah, and
Well,
and whether you like something real serious or a comedy
Yeah.
or action, I mean, you got it all at the
Or
Sonic
sci-fi,
Theaters.
and back in the day when they had Cinerama,
Cinerama.
Yeah, where you go sit in the middle of the theater and your peripheral vision was completely
Right.
filled with this curved screen. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, man, that would have
I
been
saw
great.
that about 10 times when it first came out. I couldn't get enough. I wanted to see the special effects. I wanted to see the story. I'm a big Arthur C. Clarke sci-fi fan, and everything about that was just amazing.
Yeah, that's,
And the music, segueing into when we talk about
Right.
the movie scores. Yeah.
well, and another one that comes to mind in somewhat the same fashion, a movie that I went and saw a number of times was actually an animated flick, but with amazing music and amazing animation way back in the day.
I know, Fantasia.
You got it.
I got it.
I mean,
And I also, I
hope-
saw it in my childhood, I saw it in my half growing up period, I saw it when I was allegedly grown up, and I
Right.
would still see it now that I'm allegedly grown up.
I think when I first saw it, the first words out of my mouth were, "Whoa, dude." But anyway,
That's
Yeah.
going back to Disney. They've done.
Oh, yeah,
they did.
they did, yeah.
I'm really mad at Disney right now.
That's
but,
why I'm saying
Yeah,
did.
well, I
right?
am too,
Yeah,
because I
they-
don't like what they've done to
They've
Craig.
kind of, well, they abandoned theaters.
Yeah.
They just completely
Yeah, where they made all their,
took everything out of 2020. and-
yeah, how dare they,
Yeah.
yes.
What would Mickey
Yeah.
Mouse say?
What would Walt say?
You know, well, the theaters have supported
Yeah.
Disney for many years, and I think
Not
they just
nearly
kind of
enough
took.
minutes.
I think they just kind of took a, what have you done for us lately? And
Right.
yeah, but I know they got a business to run too, so
Well, and that's why we're here talking disparagingly about them.
Yeah, because we can,
Curse the house.
we need to go on Yelp and give them an unfavorable review.
I remember as a very young child, I think I was probably 6, 7 years old, maybe at the most, when Bambi came out.
Oh,
And my mother and the lady across the street took myself and their daughter. We played together as kids and everything, and we all went to see Bambi. And that was not the uplifting movie I thought I was going to go see.
how about where the red fern grows?
oh my God,
there's
or
no-
Old Yeller.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's,
I'm still damaged because of Old Yeller. I've never gotten
Oh,
over it.
those were-
No,
those were rough.
And Shane, I never got over Shane. You know, when he's yelling, Shane, come back.
I think I mentioned before, my
Yeah.
brother, one of my brothers and his date back in those days, a long time ago, took me to go see, I guess they were, taking pity on the young punk, and they were, my brothers are all considerably older than I am. And he and his date took me to go see Ben.
Oh, yeah, the-
And if you've never
wow.
seen that, it's this, spooky little horror flick about, rodents.
With a beautiful score by Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I love that
Yeah,
song.
back before he did all the facial reconstruction and everything. Yeah, and there. Anyway, it's
Yeah, hum along
but
with
that was
Ben, right?
that was as a kid I was watching this going, I don't like this movie. It's kind of
Yeah,
creepy.
really.
But oh well.
Hey, speaking of creepy,
Yes.
Come Play. We still have Come Play showing at the theater.
Ah.
That's a kind of a horror flick about a monster that comes through electronics, like
Ooh.
cell phones and
Oh.
iPads and stuff.
You mean it's
and
not a fictional story? It's
It's also known as social
Yeah,
media.
social media, yeah.
Right.
But it's a PG-13, so
Right.
not too bad
Okay.
there. And then the other one, Freaky.
Freaky.
Yes.
Vince Vaughn.
I saw that.
Really.
Yes, and Vince Vaughn, I love him. First of all, he's one of the few conservatives in Hollywood.
Right.
Secondly, he's funny. He's funny, but he can also play a serial killer, which he plays in this. Well, actually,
You'll die laughing.
should we spoiler alert? I don't know. I don't want to do that.
No,
But
no.
go see it. It's really cool. And he, it's a body swap like the original Freaky Friday.
That's right.
Right? But Vince Vaughn is he's so watchable.
And he ends up playing the part of a teenage girl or something
He
like that.
does, and he does it magnificently.
And then this one's
Yeah.
rated R. So
Right.
not so much for the kids, but
Yeah.
kind of a teenage slasher film, which we've seen many of these, but this is a kind of a higher end one.
Yeah. And I went back to my teenagehood when I was watching it, and I really got into it. It was really cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now we have to take a quick break, and We're going to get you back to more of your favorite music here on KRIM, and then we're going to continue on Facebook Live. So we hope you go to Facebook FM, or excuse me, KRIM FM on Facebook, and join us there. Matter of fact, we have a few comments here going so far. Real quick before we go, Brandy's with us, Alex, and Brandy just said, "Me too."
What, Freaky Friday? Freaky.
I guess.
Vince Vaughn? Yeah.
I'm not.
We love Vince.
That was
Okay,
3
I'm gonna
minutes
run
ago.
away with Vince. I like Vince.
Oh.
Yeah, freaky.
Remember, you heard it first here on Roll. All right, now we got to take a break. Get you back to your favorite music. Join us on Facebook Live because we're going to be talking about your favorite movie music scores. We'll get to that on Facebook right now. But for those of you listening on KRIM, get you back to more of your favorite music. Got some great tunes coming up for you from Boston, Cheap Trick, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, and more. But first, a quick look at Rim Country weather.
Now with this
What
All right.
weather?
So
Do we
now
have- do we have weather anymore? We don't, I think it's just kind of.
It's kind of
It's the same every day.
today.
It's called climate change.
Same
we do for
thing
you
every
watching
day.
on Facebook. Slightly cooler temperatures, about a 10-degree drop by the first part of next week. So today in the low 70s, by this time next week, and by the time Thanksgiving rolls around, about 60 degrees for a high. Those of us down in Tono Basin have been whining about the low 80s this week. We'll be in the low 70s next week. So
Where's the rain?
it falls mainly on the plain, I believe. So there.
Planes, trains, and automobiles.
There you go. All right, so
And
now,
my fair lady.
so talking about music scores, I mean, my musical background was mostly in classical music, and so
Mine as well.
I think movies like A Clockwork Orange, a lot of Beethoven and stuff in there that I really liked a lot. Of course, we talked on the air about Fantasia. If you're going to pick like favorite music score from a movie of all time for you, Craig, what do you guess?
You always got to look at the Star Wars.
Right.
You know those were.
Like John Williams did an amazing job.
Yeah, those were some pretty classic ones. I going into horror films.
Right.
I really enjoy The Shining.
Oh.
Those are kind of a mood setting music that really pulls you into them. And so many of those were like Jaws. That type that music. Yeah, that you still kind of makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Right.
Yeah. Good choice. Yeah. Yeah.
Had an opportunity, speaking of that, I got another quick, me, I got too many dumb stories. Was working an earthquake down in El Salvador. We found out that there was an island about 7 or 8 miles off the coast that as a result of the earthquake, they had a bunch of inflows of sewage into the drinking water and everybody was getting sick, and we did a lot of water purification projects. So off to this island, 7 miles off the coast we go in a canoe, which was mood altering. Spent a couple of days there. It was like life like Gilligan's Island, sleeping in hammocks under little thatched hut things and all this. And last night there, we had just finished working all day in the heat, and it was just nasty, laborious work. And at the end of the day, we were all stepping off the shore into about waist-deep water and having a couple drinks, telling stories, and just sharing our experiences. And these people came out of this one little bamboo hut with this big carved wooden bowl with a carved wooden spoon in it, and they brought it out, and it was fresh shark ceviche, and they just caught it, out in these waters that day, and it was to die for. It was really quite good. So later that night, after dinner and after yet another drink or two, we all decided, they talked me into somehow hopping in this canoe and going about a mile off the shore to where they knew there was a big sandbar and you could jump off and be in like neck deep water. And at first I thought, well, I'll just stay in the boat and you young pups can go do your thing. But as they jumped into the water, there's this type of plankton that fluoresces with movement. And as they jumped in, it looked like angels jumping into the water with all of these lights, trailing from everything. And again, it took me kind of back to the 70s there for a second, but I figured, I gotta check this out. So I jumped off and was doing one of these things in front of my hands, and it was all very cool. Then I remembered, for dinner we had just had some fresh shark ceviche. What the heck am I doing out here in the middle of the night, in the middle of the ocean?
Well, and that's when the big fish feed.
Yeah.
Is at night.
Fortunately, apparently I didn't
And you were
smell
gonna-
like I tasted good.
You were gonna light yourself up for their enjoyment.
Yeah. Not quite that way, but
They've got a website you can go to now. They've tagged some of these big great whites,
Yeah.
and now they tag them on their dorsal fin. So what happens is if they break surface, it transmits to a satellite so they can see where these things are going. But
oh wow.
some of these sharks are 15, 16 foot great whites, big fish.
I posted up a picture on Facebook this last week of the heart of a blue whale, and they've got it all suspended in this warehouse or whatever. But it's like 2.5 times the height of a person, and 3 or 4 people. I mean, it's a big pump.
Yeah.
Spooky. I don't know. To me, the ocean is very interesting, but there's so much there I don't know about that it freaks me out.
We just found out about these giant squid. That are,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They're like 100 feet long, and
Yeah.
we just figured that one out.
Right.
Hell, Finding Nemo. Let's find them.
What else could be floating around down
Yeah.
there? I don't-
Yeah, really.
So, if you're gonna pick favorite of all time, I mean,
It's
we'll
hard.
divvy this up a little bit more as we go. But I mean, if you were gonna pick one movie soundtrack that was your favorite,
I keep going back to Gladiator. And I'm just a major Hans Zimmer fan. He is John Williams, Hans Zimmer, he is one of the most talented composers.
and I know we talked a little bit before going on the air, but rattle off a list of some Hans Zimmer for people that aren't familiar with him
Yes,
personally.
well, first of all, on Netflix, there is a wonderful series called Hollywood Masters, I think it is. And there are people interviewed by this very, very good British interviewer. He really asks good questions. He's very knowledgeable about the person he's interviewing, as well as finding out more. And there's a Hans Zimmer section, and I never knew a lot about him. I knew about his movies like Interstellar, Inception, The Dark, Dunkirk. He did Dunkirk.
Wow.
Yes, he did Pearl Harbor, the kind of crappy one with Ben Affleck, but the music was good. He did Black Hawk Down.
They are movie critics after all.
Yeah. He did the Da Vinci Code, which again I thought was pretty crappy, but the
Well, it's
music
a
was
bit
good.
contrived, but good music, yeah.
Yeah, Batman in 2005, King Arthur, okay, Black Rain. I mean, he goes back,
Wow.
Crimson Tide. He did Hannibal.
Wow, that goes back a ways.
Yeah, and Rain Man,
Wow.
The Last Samurai, okay.
So some big name movies.
Yeah, and Angels and Demons, Backdraft.
Well, I didn't think anybody had done as many big name movies as John Williams, but apparently Hans Zimmer's got him beat.
Big time. The Rock, 2 Batmans. He did Batman in 2016. The Mission, which was amazing. That was with Robert De Niro. Just Frost Nixon, which is actually, you should see that movie. It's on, I believe it's Netflix or Prime. But he's really been around a long time, and he's very humble. When you watch the interview of him, I just love the guy. I would, like in a sort of mini bucket list, I would like to meet him and just talk to him. He's just the coolest guy to listen to. He's got no ego going on, and yet he just so enjoys his work. He talks about being really grateful that he can do this thing that he loves and make a pretty fair living.
Mhm.
So
I'm going to raise you a Denny Elfman.
Denny Elfman, definitely.
Denny Elfman?
Yeah, see, now I'm going to desert Hans Zimmer
He
and
sounds
go to
great.
Denny Elfman.
He
You
sounds
know what?
very
You're
short.
so right. He is great.
Pretty prolific too. Yeah,
Yes.
he did a lot of stuff for Tim Burton.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
But Beetlejuice,
Yes.
Edward Scissorhands, Nightmare
Yeah.
Before Christmas.
Yeah.
There we go. Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Alice in Wonderland, Batman,
Yeah.
Men in Black.
Yep.
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. Goodwill Hunting.
The Will Hunting
Wow.
Spider-Man.
That's quite a list.
He
Planet
is-
of the Apes.
Yeah,
Dark
He's
Shadows.
And his
Super
name
good.
again was
Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman.
Elfman. Very short
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Wow, that's
He
very
was-
interesting.
He's really brilliant.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's wow.
Yeah, I
Okay,
mean,
But I mean, that's
keep
quite a
going.
list.
Yeah,
He's,
let's just
he's
keep going,
prolific
yeah.
for sure.
Right. Yeah. Men in Black.
Men in Black, Terminator.
Yay.
Charlotte's Web.
American Hustle.
American Hustle. Huh?
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
Scrooged. One of my favorite Christmas movies. Yes, with Bill Murray. Yeah, whom
Oh,
I
yeah,
saw
yeah.
die.
Oh.
I just saw Zombieland and they killed Bill Murray.
You know, when you think
Spoiler!
when you think about movies, if there was no music,
Oh.
I mean, there'd be 80 to 90% of the emotion in the movie would be gone.
Well, think about back to the silent movies. When they first started out making movies that, with the silent, they were not silent. They always had a score or somebody playing the piano. But if you go back to the Russian movie, The Battleship Potemkin, which was a really great classic silent movie, Prokofiev, the classic composer, he did the score. A lot of these guys did scores for movies before they became, just concert hall performers and, and composers.
Very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, the music just adds so much, and it does so in almost a subliminal way. I mean, I think quite often when you're watching a movie, you're not really thinking about the music. But it's building, the tension is building, and the character is. I mean, it just without the music, I think movies would be.
That's what you're talking about horror films.
Oh, yeah.
Where you got that.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Jaws. That.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I know something's going to
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
You
Yeah.
know, or some of the John Carpenter. Some.
Oh,
of his,
John Carpenter does all his own music too.
Yeah, those horror
Yeah.
flicks.
You know what? The Thing, which is what he did that was the one in Alaska.
Yeah, with
His score for that is still, I mean, it's almost like on a vibration, a low vibration sound.
Mhm.
Really, really good for that. Yeah, he writes all his own scores.
And completely different level. Back in the 70s, I was a big fan of Elton John's music, and this
Oh,
back
yeah.
before things became more flamboyant, shall we say.
Still good music.
Oh, it was excellent music. But that recent movie about his life, the
Yeah.
name of which is
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
Yes. Wonderful.
That was it was neat to re-experience some of those songs, as well as kind of try to understand how his life unfolded and all of that kind of stuff. But fascinating stuff. What you mentioned before, silent movies, and of course music, kind of a critical ingredient in silent movies.
Yeah, they were not silent.
But on a side note to that, one of the most interesting acting performances that I've seen, that for quite a few of the first minutes of a movie, he did no speaking at all, was Tom Hanks in, was it Castaway?
Oh my goodness.
And I mean, there no dialogue or
Yep.
anything, yet he really pulled that off.
Oh, he's extraordinary.
I thought that was interesting.
Mhm.
I still laugh when people talk to volleyballs, but I thought they just did a
Wilson.
pretty interesting. They did a pretty interesting job of making
Yeah,
that
really.
all kind of plausible.
Yeah.
When,
Well,
when,
yeah.
the, when the volleyball falls off the raft at
Oh,
the end,
oh,
he's just like,
God.
oh no, he's
Yeah,
crying.
and let's bring back, look at Queen.
Ooh.
Freddie Mercury, just like, speaking of Elton John, he
Right.
out flamboyanted Elton John. I
What'd she
mean,
say?
seriously, and they did the score for Highlander, which was that
Mhm.
wonderful movie with Sean Connery. God bless his soul, just died,
Yeah.
90 years old, and Christopher Lambert. And
Mhm.
who was the guy who played the crazy?
I don't know, the Kurgan. Yeah,
The Kurgan. I will think of him afterwards, but they did the whole score for that first movie, and it was absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, so let's flip the record over.
Why
And
not?
this might be a little harder to come up with, maybe, but then again, maybe not for our movie critics. Absolute worst music score in a movie. I'm trying to think of.
Whom do we hate?
Yes, let's see.
I don't know.
Salem. It's a Rob Zombie film,
Mm.
and the music now. The music's bad, but he kind of did that intentionally because it was supposed to. This is a horror film, so it was supposed to be satanic, and it's just this weird like.
Great on your nerves,
it's just,
sort of.
Yeah, it's just it's a disturbing music.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you call that bad or not. I mean,
If it disturbs me, I call it bad.
it was bad, but I mean, I guess it was meant to be disturbing, so maybe that
Right.
makes it good.
Anything with rap.
Right.
I
Yeah.
sit at home,
You know, there's
we'll put on a movie and it might be a, an older movie and stuff, and if it's got rap in the score, I'm like, I'm sorry, I
But
can't.
there's
I
really
can't
only
do it.
one thing
I
missing.
hate rap.
There's only
okay?
one thing missing with
I
rap.
put the C on the.
That's what's missing. You need a
what's
big
missing.
capital C in
Oh,
front of
man.
the word.
What
It is not
what
music.
About, okay, what about 8 Mile?
Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
And then there was the one where Snoop Dogg did one with
There's some out there.
a couple.
I'm not a big
Okay.
rap fan either. But
No, but
there
I
are
mean
some out
seriously, there's just this wanga hip hop rap. I think it is the devolution of music, with the emphasis on the devil part.
Well, I mean, it does lack any musical quality. It's more just rhythmic chanting, and typically with a lot of rap, the subject matter that
You know,
they
I
go into
heard-
is something I could live
This
without.
is what makes me so upset. I hear, say, young black kids say, well, that's our heritage. I'm like, dude, your heritage is Motown, your heritage is blues, your heritage is some wonderful black jazz. I mean, Miles Davis, for Pete's sake, right? No, rap is not your heritage. Rap is the stupid thing that you do when you have no awareness of your heritage. Okay, thus endeth the sermon.
And now for a word from our sponsor. No, I mean, I just don't have anything good to say about rap, so I should not say anything. But I've spent time in a number of different parts of Africa.
I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Right.
I spent time in a number of different places in Africa with tribal folks, and I mean, there was some pretty interesting music, and none of it had any rap in it.
Look at Ladysmith Black Mambazo. Those guys who sang with, they came to prominence because Paul Simon, brilliant musician, he brought them onto that album, Diamonds on the Soles of Her Shoes.
Right.
And they are extraordinary. Even back in the day, I listened to Miriam Makeba, who was African, and I had her on vinyl. And, The Lion Sleeps Tonight, she sang that in whatever the language was, Zoza, I think. And it was glottal stops and everything beautiful, Rap is just a lazy, stupid form of non-music.
Don't candy coat it for us. Tell us what you really
I gotta
think.
stop. Okay, having a day here.
I'm sitting here wondering with music, you're talking about bad music and good music for movies. Do they start with the movie and then compose the music around me? Because when you watch a movie, I mean, the music kind of matches up with the movie.
Mhm.
Or do they do the music and then kind of match the movie, or is it kind of a give and take there, or a
It
little bit of both?
it depends on the composer, because all I know is when Hans Zimmer was interviewed, and he does a lot for Christopher Nolan, right? He and Christopher Nolan are like buds. I mean, they work together on constructing the movie and the music that's going to go with it.
That would be
That's
a tough
him.
job.
That's him. What he does. I don't know about these other guys.
that meshing that seems.
Well, and then
But if you
especially
think
when
of,
you're trying to, we need something, a suspenseful building, music
Right.
right here for this one spot, and
Right.
it needs to be 11 seconds long,
Ah,
and it needs to come right out of the end of the piece of music that was playing just before that. And,
right.
I mean, there's a lot of weird
But if
variables
you
there to
think
be
of
tough.
the directors who have used classical music, like you, or rock music, like Apocalypse Now, used all that wonderful rock music that
Right.
was really good. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I mean, who doesn't remember dong dong dong
Right.
da
No,
right?
It's amazing.
But I mean, Richard Wagner wrote that before there were movies.
Right.
So, and
I
then-
didn't realize that.
I know. And then the waltz, the landing where they land the spaceship, and the Strauss waltz that goes along with that is so
Huh.
perfect.
some, I mean, like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, exactly,
And
yeah.
a great soundtrack. But now in that one, you're almost going to have to kind of match the movie to the music. I mean,
Mhm.
since the music's
Already
there,
done,
already
right,
there. So you're
yeah.
going to have to kind of.
Right.
And then when you're talking about having to modulate from one key to the next key with the next song, but have it follow the storyline of what's going. I mean, it takes a true gift, I think, to be able to effectively do that.
Yeah.
And people like Zimmer and Williams and others. I mean, I think they have a profound gift.
Yeah, and then, what was the one that Lady Gaga was in with Bradley, A Star is Born?
First one, yeah.
Well, they wrote music for that movie. And I think, I don't know if there was another composer who did the transitional, piece it together music, but, I mean, that was an amazing musical.
Lady Gaga, I mean, this whole persona thing that she does is not something that I can really identify with, but she got a heck of a talent.
Oh, yeah, she really does. And Bradley Cooper as well.
Yeah.
Isn't there a little bit, was it like one of the Pink Floyd albums or something that matches up with a movie or I don't know, if you start it, you gotta match them up just right, but the whole thing goes, fits in right
And if
along
you
with
play
the
it
movie.
backwards, it says, I
just
killed
buy it.
Paul.
Yeah, one of those things, yeah, but I forgot what that one was now.
Right.
There was something where, it was supposed to match up with a movie just by coincidence.
Well, if you think of musicals that have been done, Richard Lester, one of my favorite, unappreciated directors, he did A Hard Day's Night with the Beatles.
Oh, wow.
And then he also did The Three Musketeers and The Four Musketeers, which are classics, with Michael York and Faye Dunaway, Raquel Welch.
Raquel Welch.
Stop and just give homage to Raquel.
Be happy to.
Yeah, no,
Um,
really, and Oliver Reed and Frank Finley and Spike Mulligan, these were great.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon, that was it, yeah.
Dark Side of the Moon is supposed to match up with the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah,
Really?
If
Yeah.
you,
yeah, that's a good
Dark
vibe.
Side of the Moon?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this produces moments where the film and the album appear to correspond.
Yeah.
You gotta start Dark Side of the
Well,
Moon
yeah.
right at a certain place.
I
and-
think I
and
have
it kinda-
both of those at home. I'll have to check
Yeah,
that out.
yeah.
That'd be a fun Friday night thing.
Really?
So we're just about out of time. If
Don't you have any of that stuff that's now legal recreationally now?
I don't know anything about that.
Go play in Tonto Basin.
That's right. It's too hot down there to do anything but sweat.
This is Pink Floyd, there we go.
Just in conclusion, and it doesn't necessarily have to be someone who's written movie scores, but just out of curiosity, Tina, favorite composer of all time?
Well, I mean, my composer, I don't know, I'd probably have to default to Mozart because he's just so exquisite.
Mozart, the melodies there were.
Yeah, I
profound.
mean, just everything about, and it's not like I listen to him all the time, but I revisit all
Right.
the time.
Hey,
Yeah.
And Amadeus is a great movie
Oh, it's a
that
wonderful
showcased
movie.
some of the
Oh,
strangeness in his life.
Yeah, we did that last year, I
It was
think. Yeah,
wonderful.
That's a great
yeah,
movie.
It was great.
What about you? Favorite composer of all
I
time?
don't really have.
Is Def Leppard really a composer?
Yeah. Tchaikovsky?
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, yeah, I mean, there you are. I'm gonna go all Russian on you now, so yeah, exactly. Rachmaninoff.
See now that's
come on. Yeah.
Rachmaninoff was
Yeah,
have some amazing stories about Rachmaninoff. Rachmaninoff, his third piano
he had the
concerto.
big hands. No,
Yeah.
the second.
Oh, you like the second?
Oh, yeah, no, the second. Forget the third. No.
I don't want
It's
to.
the second adagio. I will cry. I will always cry. It's.
I think it's the third at the finale. I always have a picture in my mind's eye of the pianist's fingers split open, bleeding on the keyboard.
Oh, yeah.
Franz Liszt
Yeah.
was another one with huge hands that
Mhm.
had a very colorful life and a lot of interesting stories. But I think if I was going to pick a favorite composer of all time, boy, it'd be tough. I think Franz Liszt would be there, but I also think Beethoven would be in the list. But I
Yeah.
think probably at the very top of the list would be Bach. There's
He is
there's
really
a
wonderful.
mathematical precision to what he does that just if you live anywhere close to me, I'm sorry, because occasionally you're going to hear Bach cranked up to 11/7 on the stereo. Some of that music was
Well, and
from
let's
back in the
not
Baroque
forget
era.
opera.
Well, I can easily forget opera.
No. Puccini is the man. Madame Butterfly, La Boheme,
Yeah,
sung by the great Luciano Pavarotti, the late great.
yeah, he was good.
Yes, he was
I'm not a big
wonderful.
opera fan. I just never. I guess I just haven't found one yet that tripped my trigger. Although Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, Schiller's Ode to Joy in there,
Yes.
and just the way the voices and the instruments meld together is a true work of art.
And then Mozart wrote for opera. He wrote the Magic Flute.
Yeah.
He wrote the Seraglio. I forget that one. He wrote a bunch of operas.
And Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring is a favorite as far as
Yeah.
melodious.
Yes.
Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
yeah,
excellent.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Andrew Lloyd Webber has done some amazing
Yeah,
stuff. He
it
wrote
was-
a Requiem for his father that was absolutely incredible, sung by Placido Domingo and Sarah Brightman.
Wow.
And seriously, go find this. It is a complete classical music gem.
Oh,
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah.
And that's again called.
It's called Requiem, and it's by Andrew Lloyd Webber. And, you know, the original recording was with Placido Domingo and Sarah Brightman,
Right.
to whom he was married for a while. She has the
He
most
was married to Sarah Brightman?
Yes. She has the most exquisite, what we call bel canto soprano, which is way up there.
Right.
Yeah. And, there's a Kyrie eleison at the end with the little voice soprano that is to die for.
Wow. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, really good.
Well, sadly, we're out of time. We got to make room because DJ Pammy is going to be in here and taking people through the lunch hour with some great music and a bunch of other stuff.
Thank
But,
you for joining us,
yeah.
Facebookies.
We always enjoy having the hometown movie guys with us. Hopefully next week we can have Andy back in here again. We hope he gets to feeling better, and we look forward to seeing him and look forward to seeing you back here again on Friday mornings for your hometown movie guys, either on K-Rim's Community Spotlight starting at 10 o'clock or just catch us here on Facebook Live, and we'll keep you going. Thanks again for
Yes.
tuning in today.